Hey there! So, you've clicked on this video about how to make money with digital products, a getting started guide. But somehow I am guessing that you actually already basically know how to make money with digital products. You already know that you need to pick a product, you need to do some market research, so you know if there's even demand for the product, you need to plan a launch, set up to sell, including making the product, launch the product to make some money, then build some sort of sales system so that you can continue to make money with it, and then generate some leads or some visibility so that people actually go through your sales system. But if you already know that, why did you click on this video? Well, I'm guessing that it's for one of either two reasons. Either you just aren't really sure how to get started on this whole process, you're not sure what your first step should be, or else you just feel like you have some unanswered questions. So in this video, I want to share with you some lessons that I've learned about each different stage of the process. I've learned them by launching a couple dozen products, digital products, over the last 6 or 7 years, and I'm hoping that by sharing each of these lessons, I'll be able to help you to overcome that challenge and actually finally get started. Okay, so the whole process starts with this step of deciding or choosing an idea. You probably have a few different businesses you're thinking about starting or products that you're thinking about creating, all these different courses you could create, maybe you could start a membership, all these options. So you have to actually pick an idea. Now that is the main and most important point here. You just need to pick something. It's not about choosing the right answer because there actually isn't a right or wrong answer. Probably on your list of ideas, there are several different good options. None of them are perfect. They've each got their pros and their cons, but so many people get stuck right here with just trying to pick an idea and they never move forward. They never create a digital product. They never launch a digital product and they never start making passive income because they never even get past this step. So the most important thing here is just do it and move forward. This does not need to be a forever decision. You are choosing something to try, and after a few months, if it's not working or you decide you don't like it, you can always go back to step one. But you will make progress so much faster by simply making a decision now and starting to move forward and getting some feedback from yourself about whether you like it or not, from others, whether or not they're interested, and then being able to either keep moving forward with that idea or deciding to cross that idea off your list and try something else. But just don't get stuck here. Then you come to step two, right? Market research. So market research. Sometimes people completely skip it. Most of the time, I think people completely skip it because it sounds big and scary and they didn't learn how to do it in school. But really, market research can be incredibly simple. You just need to talk to some people who might be interested in your product. You don't have to be sure if they're interested, just people who you know who might be interested. Ask them if they are interested. And if they are, find out why they're interested. Are they facing a problem that makes them want to buy a product like yours? Are they interested in that topic? Just find out why. Now, not only is this going to tell you whether or not there is demand for your product so that you know if this is worth your time and if you should keep moving forward with it, because here's the thing, you're going to have to find people who want to buy your product at some point, if you want to make money with it at least. So you might as well find those people early on before you're trying to sell it, before you've even made it, because that way you won't waste the time making it and trying to launch it and risk embarrassing yourself. So do this early on, figure out if there's demand, but also this, when you're trying to come up with how to sell your product, this is like a sales page here. You're trying to decide what to write on your sales page. As long as you're thinking, wondering, what should I write on my sales page? A lot of the time, you can't figure it out, you don't know what to write, and sometimes you write something, but it's the wrong thing. But if you go out there, do your market research, meaning you talk to real people who are interested in your product, well, you ask them a question, why are you interested? Then they give you an answer. This is why I'm interested, and then you can literally take those words and put them on your sales page. The thing practically writes itself, and not only is it easier, it's also much more likely to generate sales, to convert visitors into customers, because you are literally using their words, their reasons why they told you they want to buy the product, their language about the problem that they're facing, and so they will understand the words that you've used instead of just if you were guessing at what they are thinking or feeling or wanting. So then you come to step three. It's time to make a launch plan. How are you going to launch this thing? You've got to answer some questions here. what are you launching? So if you haven't yet, you need to come up with a name for that product, and you need to clarify exactly what's included. For example, if it's a digital course, well, how many modules, how many lessons, what will they learn in each of those modules? What will the main outcome be? Okay, so clarify what the thing is. Then when are you going to launch it? Is it going to happen next week, next month, next year? Hopefully not, but decide exactly when this launch is going to take place. Then how? And for this, I'm specifically thinking like, how will you sell it? We'll talk more about that in a minute here with the next step of the process, but think about how this launch is actually going to go down. And then finally, although really maybe this should be the first thing, who are you going to sell it to? Both think about this in a theoretical sense of like, what is this person like? Specifically, what does this person want? Why would they want the product? And also, more specifically, in a more tactile way, physically, who will these people be? Are you going to sell it to your mom and your brother, or are you going to sell it to strangers online? Where will you sell it to them online in that case? Okay, and then finally with planning your launch, you're gonna wanna set a few goals. First of all, how many sales are you trying to make? I would recommend keeping this number small for your first launch, but we're gonna double down on it and make sure you hit that goal or surpass it. If you're trying to validate this product idea and find out like, is this even a valid product idea? Then I would say somewhere in the range of 3 to 10 sales will get you that proof of concept that you need. If it's a more expensive product, it can be on the lower end of that range of numbers of purchases, so something like 3. If it is a cheaper product, you're just selling something like an ebook or a PDF or a low-cost course, well then I would like to see you get at least 10 sales. To hit that number of sales, how many leads will you need? So for example, if you're trying to generate 5 sales and you're expecting to have a 10% conversion rate, you just divide 5 by 10, and that tells you that you need 50 leads to generate those 5 sales. So that needs to be actually your main goal for your launch. Generate 50 leads and have conversations with 50 prospective buyers, and that more than anything is going to guarantee or predict that you will be able to hit that sales goal. Okay, so now we come to step 4 of the process. This is where you get really hands-on with it. You need to set up the systems that you need to sell. So you need basically 3 things. You need a shopping cart that's connected to a payment processor. So this could be something like Samcart, or maybe your website already has a built-in shopping cart. Like if you're using Shopify or Squarespace, there's built-in carts. Or you might be using a platform like Kajabi or Teachable. Those platforms have built-in shopping carts also. But this is just the interface that allows people to check out. It needs to be connected to a payment processor. The most common one is called Stripe, and creating an account with them is completely free. How they make money, how Stripe makes money, is by charging those payment processing fees, typically roughly around 1.5% to 2%. You also need some way that your customers are going to access the material or the product after they buy it. So something like a course platform or a website that the membership is hosted on. And then finally, you need a delivery system. With digital products, this is almost always email. So you're going to need some sort of email marketing software, also called an email service provider, such as ConvertKit or MailerLite. Those are 2 that I like and recommend. These things shouldn't take you a lot of time to set up, but they are essential. Okay, so then you come to number 5, the big event, the launch. This is where you publicly share your product with the world. I would recommend for your first launch, you consider it a beta launch. It is a test. The main goal is to learn whether or not people want your product, learn what works, learn what doesn't. Don't go into it with the goal for your launch be to make 100 sales or something like that. Set the sales goal really small, like I said before, and have the main goal just be to learn. Now, this is exciting because you're going to get your very first customers, so make sure that you are ready to accept those customers. Now, you might notice that I didn't really talk about creating the product, and that's because at least a lot of my students don't create the product before this point. They just plan the product and then they launch their digital product as a live experience. So for example, if they are going to create a digital course, instead of creating the whole course ahead of time, they just plan out the course. Then after people buy it, they deliver it as a series of live classes over Zoom, for example. Now, that's not how everyone wants to do it, and there are other ways that you can deliver a course live. And of course, you need to make sure that you are upfront about that, but people often actually pay more for a course that has not yet been created because they are paying for this live experience, which is considered to be more valuable because of that feedback that they can get, the interaction that they can potentially have during those live classes, unlike a pre-recorded course that can sometimes kind of blend in with all the other pre-recorded courses on the market. Now, we've got a little bit of math here because we're talking about launching, we're talking about making the sales. So basically, here's what I've learned and here's what I want you to consider. When you're first starting out and your audience is tiny, you need to make sure that you are getting a good conversion rate. Because if you only have, say, 100 leads or 100 people in your audience or 100 connections who you're going to try to sell to, if you're using tactics that are only getting you, say, like a 1% conversion rate, well, then you're only going to generate literally one sale. And of course, that's not even a sure thing. You very well might generate 0 sales. Now, you might say, well, Gillian, why would I use a sales tactic that only has a 1% conversion rate? Well, I hate to break it to you, but most sales tactics, especially those that you probably encounter in the real world, have only about a 1% conversion rate or even way less. So I'm talking about things like email marketing or advertising. Now, once you're dealing with over about 1,000 leads, it can potentially start to make sense to use those mass marketing tactics like email marketing and different types of advertising, content marketing, whatnot, because you can't possibly talk to all 1,000 people, right? You can't have those one-to-one sales conversations. But as you can see, even at 1,000 leads, you're still only gonna make about 10 sales using those tactics, which is where using some sort of sales event, such as a webinar, can really help you out here. But if you're dealing with less than 1,000 leads, then most likely you're going to want to use one-to-one sales tactics. This means that you are interacting with each lead individually. You are having sales conversations directly with them, because those sales conversations generally convert at an average of about 30%. I mean that literally, an average. So sometimes they're only 10 or 20%, but quite often they convert at 40, 50%, or even higher. So if you were dealing with, say, 100 leads, you had a one-on-one sales conversation with 100 leads at that very average 30% conversion rate, you have now generated 30 sales. That is 3 times as many as if you had had 10 times as many leads just because you took the time to have those one-on-one sales conversations. This is something I really wish I knew when my audience was tiny. I wasn't making any sales at all, even though I had, a few hundred leads and then a couple thousand leads. No one was buying my course, but it was because I was trying to copy what I saw the big names do. I was trying to copy their email marketing tactics or just copy their webinar. It wasn't converting at all. Okay, so once you've launched your product, then you'll want to move on to actually growing your business, scaling your business. So step 6 is to build an evergreen sales system. So this is a system that will enable your business to scale because, we just talked about having those one-to-one sales conversations. Well, you could only do that up to a certain number of leads. Beyond there, if you want to make more sales than that, you're gonna need a system that does it for you. So I recommend what at Startup Society we call a 100K funnel. So this is a systematized sales funnel that can generate at least $10,000 or more per month consistently. Now, big picture, if you're not even familiar with what a sales funnel is, it's a series of generally pieces of content that guide traffic or leads through different stages of awareness. First, they become aware of your product, then they get interested, and finally they make that purchase. And you move them through that using email marketing, using content such as videos and podcasts, using sales events like webinars. Now, you need to make sure that you automate this with software because while actually literally every business that is making sales has some sort of sales funnel, a lot of small businesses run their sales funnel very manually. They have to interact with customers at every stage of this process. So for example, someone looks them up on Google, okay, that part is automated, but then they call them up. They have to talk to that person. Then the person comes into their shop. They have to show them the product. Then they have to ring them up manually. If you want to make passive income with your digital products, you need to make sure that you have automated with software that takes care of every one of those steps. Okay, and then you come to the final step, which is driving traffic. Now this is essential because you can build the best sales funnel in the world. It can be extremely strategic and incredibly persuasive even, but if you are not sending traffic into the top of it, it is not going to generate a single sale for you. Now, I think the big thing that a lot of people get wrong here is that they try to go out there and hustle for the traffic, hustle for the visibility. They think, I am the face of my brand, and so I need to be everywhere, and I need to tell people about my brand. And that's fine, and you can do that. But if you want to truly make passive income, you need to build these evergreen traffic systems. I'm talking about things like finding joint venture partners, other brands that promote your brand for you to earn affiliate commissions, for example. I'm talking about doing things like creating long-form evergreen content. That's why I love YouTube. The videos keep getting found on the platform via search and suggested for years after I create them. And also things like paid ads. Don't do this at the beginning. Don't. Rely on organic measures at first and make sure that your sales system is working. Make sure there is really plenty of demand for your product before you pour your money into it. But once you know that your sales system is converting consistently, well, then you can start paying for ads and you can turn $1 into $2 over and over again. Every dollar you spend on ads can turn into $2 of revenue. And that is when you can really start scaling your business on demand. You can crank up the handle to automatically grow your business, and that is an incredible place to be in. So there you have it, my take on the 7 steps of starting to make money with digital products. Now, if you want to learn more about any of these steps, I've got a free course that I put together. It's called Small Business 101. It's going to guide you to decide exactly what business to start, create a business plan, test your business idea by beta launching your product, setting up your website, the basics of business bookkeeping, and a whole lot more. Like I said, the course is free. You can find it at gillianperkins.com/101. We're going to be overhauling it soon, so if you want to get access to both versions, make sure you sign up for it now. You can watch the current version, and then when we overhaul it in a month or 2, then you will get access to the new version as well. Well, thanks so much for watching today's video. Next up, if you need some help figuring out what business to start, then watch this video right here. Or if you're ready to beta launch your product and test drive your business idea, then watch this video right here.